Dear friends, it is impossible to ignore the atmosphere of uncertainty that defines our daily lives. We live in a society governed by a high rate of change, a continuous flow of information that never sleeps. Perhaps you feel it too, that invisible weight of a world continuously in transition. While this environment isn't just happening out there, it is reinforcing a specific psychological and energetic structure within us. We could call it a triangle of worry, anxiety, and fear that keeps us constantly braced for a future that never seems to arrive. So perhaps we need to take a moment, we need to stop and ask ourselves, why does this noise affect us so deeply? Why the world spins at an ever faster rate when at the same time humanity seems unable to keep up with the pace, to cope with this ever increasing level of stress? When every headline, every shift in narrative feels like a physical threat to our very being, where are we going? We can look outside, sure. We can look at the great powers of this world, the agents of chaos in this age that act selfishly for money, power, for themselves. Sure, all this is out there in the world. We can all see it. We can all recognize it. But if we take a step further and look at ourselves, well, perhaps we have anchored our sense of self in a world that is by its own very nature in continuous flux. We are immersed in a myriad of shifting truths and manufactured perspectives. Our own ideas and ideals shift continuously, swayed all the time by this. If we seek a permanent home for our identity in the carousel that we call modern life, we will always be exhausted. As we said, we are easily swayed all the time because our identity is built on shifting sands. And our mind acts to reconciliate all of this, weaving chaotic impulses into a story so that we can live with ourselves, so that we can maintain the illusion of a cohesive I am. I am this, I am that. This is our inner matrix. We project our internal tensions onto the world, and we call that truth. But what kind of truth shifts all the time? And so, how can we move beyond the shifting sands? Where can we find the essence of what we long for? Call it truth, call it peace, call it freedom. Perhaps you recall Morpheus in the Matrix movie, sitting across from Neo. He doesn't offer a better philosophy or a more comfortable life within the simulation. He offers a choice. He speaks of a splinter in the mind, that knowing feeling that something is fundamentally wrong with the world. And I think you feel that too, in your own way, sure. But that splinter is actually the presence of the original essence in ourselves. In the Golden Rose Cross, we call it the Spirit Spark. It's a glimmer of the universal spirit, that essential oneness that we're all seeking for. And it lays right at the center of our being. But how do we unplug ourselves? In fact, before unplugging ourselves, we must confront the machine. We must look at the threefold lock that binds us. The worry, the constant worry of our thoughts in our head, the anxiety of the heart, continually bracing for what might come, and the fear in our belly, that atavic instinct for survival, that manifests in fear for everything or anything that we don't know, that may come our way and disrupt our status quo. These aren't just feelings, friends. They are layers of a prison made of biology, of subconscious masks, of ancient karmic records known as the Lipika, everything that forms our unconscious and then governs our life from the depths of the unknown in ourselves. And so ask yourself, if our reactions are dictated by these layers, who is actually living our life? The spiritual path is not the story of the I becoming perfect. It is the drama of the I recognizing this parallel nature, this essential part in ourselves, and eventually stepping aside. And when this shift begins, a total structural revolution can begin. We can move from the old triangle of distress, worry, anxiety, and fear to a new triangle, faith, not a religious belief, but that inner certainty, that connection with the essential part of ourselves that gives us an anchor in the shifting world. Hope, as this connection starts expressing itself in our being, a new perspective is given to our ideas, to our mind, a new perspective on the world, but especially a new perspective on ourselves, on our own identity. And finally, love, the power to radiate this inner light, this inner force that we receive from the very center of our being, from the spirit spark, and radiate it to the world and to humanity. As we said, friends, this is not a change in belief. It's not a mere change of ideas or ideals. It's a change in the very frequency of your being. It's a transition where you stop consuming the energy, the dark clouds that feed our own being. And so we stop consuming this energy of a chaotic world and start radiating the light of a new one, a new reality within ourselves, within our consciousness. But how does this revolution actually take place? How do we move from the observation of a prison that we created, in which we experience life, to the actual experience of the other one, Neo, the new consciousness that is born from the spirit spark? These are the questions that lead us to the three pillars, the very beginning of the path indicated by the Golden Rose Cross: self-knowledge, conscious connection, and transformation of consciousness. And this reflection is perhaps the very beginning of this process. We invite you to join us for our upcoming talk, where we will go deeper together into the mechanics of our natural consciousness, but most importantly, explore exactly how to break free from the threefold lock of worry, anxiety, and fear, and navigate the structural revolution of the heart, head, and life sanctuaries. And friends, the truth is not a destination. It is a presence waiting to set you free right here, right now, in the eternal now. Yes, friends, the path can only begin, can only start in the now. And we look forward to exploring these with you.